Hey, I'm back again with another video, and today I'm not going to be talking about Professor R. I know that I talked about him in the last two videos, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, if I talk about Professor R, it will be a whole YouTube channel dedicated to Professor R. And I have so many other stories to tell, or so many other things to tell y'all too. I'm still going to tell y'all the rest of Professor R's stuff, but I still just want to like make sure that I add the other stuff in there too. So today I'm gonna be telling y'all about the time that me and a few other people went on a road trip and wound up having to climb out of the window of a rest stop because of this spooky scary man. Okay, and so I'm gonna give everybody a fake name, okay? So I don't disclose anybody's business. So I'll just say, letters for names so that way I don't get confused like I did in the other video when I was calling Professor R both of his fake names. So the three people that I went with was A, T, and C. Okay. And so C was wanting to go see her grandma one last time before she had passed away. And she knew, like the family had knew Granny was old. She was in her 90s, like late 90s. So it's like the whole family had already knew, they had already prepared, for Granny, and she just wanted to make sure that she was able to see her one last time before she had went back. I mean, before she went back to school or did whatever it was that she was supposed to do. Now this was during the time that I was in Professor R's class, but I didn't have to go to Professor R class every day because I was in college, and you get to pick your own schedule and how stuff go, and Professor R had a long class, so I didn't have to see him no 3 times a week or anything like that. So I was able to go. And so and the other two people that had went with us, A, T, and C. Okay. A, T, and C. Them is the three people that was on the trip with me. Okay, so A and T, they both, I'm trying my best, y'all. A, I'm just gonna give them names. Ashley and Trina. Okay. Ashley, Trina, and Kimberly. Okay. So Ashley and Tina and Kimberly, we all was going on the trip. We was all packed. We was all ready to go. Everybody was happy. Everybody had their stuff on. So we pull off, we get, a couple stays over, everything's fine, nothing's wrong, and then now we're in the middle of nowhere. And Trina, she's a drinker. Okay, so whenever we stop or whenever we pull over or whenever we're doing something, Trina is trying to find her some liquors. Okay, she wants some liquor. And she did. She found her some every single time. Like, go one time she found her some Jack Daniels, another time she found her something else. So she has to go to the bathroom. And we pulled over or whatever at like this diner's place. It was real crusty, real rusty, real old, real in the middle of nowhere. It was cars outside though, and it was people inside. It wasn't just like a deserted or destitute place. So Ashley, she chilling, and Trina, of course, she's buzzing, so she's real happy or whatever. And she want to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, we might as well eat while we here because ain't no sense of like not eating nothing or whatever. And so we sat down, we had got us a booth, and it was a whole bunch of people in there. It wasn't just us or anything like that. It was people at the bar, it was people at the booths, it was just people, and then they had a few tables too, and people was at the tables too as well. And the bathroom was over in a little area like off to the side, so you had to walk past the booths and then get to the bathroom. And the front door was like, you walk in, then you look this way and you see all the booths, then if you keep going you can get to the bathroom, then if you look this way you'll see the couple of tables that I was telling you about, and the bar, and it had like a magazine stand, gumball machine, stuff like that over there too. And so we was chilling, we was waiting for our food, we ordered our food and everything, and then all of a sudden the door opened, and I could hear like the person's shoes on the ground. That's how hard they was walking on the ground, like behind me, even though it was people in there and talking, like, how you can hear somebody stomping. That's how this person sounded like when they came in, like dun dun dun, like it was like Thanos. And so I heard they feet, and then Ashley, she started looking funny. And I'm like, what's she looking funny for? Because Ashley was the driver. She wasn't drinking. Trina was the one that was drinking. Okay. And I wasn't drinking either because I just didn't want to drink. I just didn't want to. And so I'm looking at her like, what's the problem? What's the problem? She like, turn around. So I turned around. It was this huge man, big, tall, 300 pounds, all muscle, Michael Myers size type of person. And he had on some dark sunglasses and a trucker hat and like a blue, navy blue jacket and navy blue pants. And he had on boots. And he was big, and he was just standing there. He wasn't saying anything. He wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there, and other people were starting to feel uneasy about it too, because they like, okay, what is he just standing there for? Is he about to do something? Is he about to whatever? Because he was dirty. He was very dirty. He smelled like cat pee. He he wasn't a homeless person though. Like you could tell that he wasn't a homeless person because he didn't have his little cart, or he didn't have like his little stuff. Like, homeless people, they get down, they be having their little stuff or whatever because they gotta survive out here. So he was not a homeless person. Okay, he didn't have no little cart, he didn't have no little stuff, he just was a man. Okay. And so everybody was feeling uneasy, everybody was feeling some type of way. Ashley, she said, we about to go to the bathroom, all of us. And I was like, okay. So because he was blocking the front door, like you had to walk past him to get past the front door. And I think that might have been why other people was looking uneasy. And another reason why I decided to give Ashley and Trina names is because it's so many people in this story, because the whole restaurant is involved in the story. And so I had no choice but to take the letters back and give them names. Okay, so we all get up, we go in the bathroom. We don't leave nothing at the table. Nothing. No purses, no jackets, no nothing. We don't leave nothing at the table to let the waitress know that we coming back. Okay, we don't care if they made our food. We don't care. We're gone. We're in the bathroom. We hadn't. We trying to figure out how to get up out of here. So we in the bathroom, we're discussing, and the bathroom door does not lock. Okay, it doesn't lock. I know that sounds crazy, but it don't lock. It just closes all the way. That's what it does. And I guess they figure if the door is closed, that means somebody in there. So we panicking. We trying to figure out how to get past him at the door, because we don't know how to get back out of the restaurant, because we feel uneasy because he's just standing in the middle of the floor. And everybody done started talking, everybody looking over at him. He's still not saying nothing. Can I help you, hon? It's coming from the back behind the counter, and he's still not saying nothing. And so everybody feeling uneasy at this point. Okay. And so Ashley, she trying to put her ear up to the door to see if she can hear what's going on outside the bathroom. And the bathroom, it was just like an old wood door or whatever, so you could hear on the other side, but it was no talking, none. Like the people wasn't talking in the back, like yelling out the orders and yelling out the shorthand and all of that kind of stuff. They was not doing that anymore. Okay. And she couldn't hear nothing. And then the next thing we knew, the door had the knob on the door started turning, and it was this guy, we'll call him Hat Guy, and his lady that he was with, I will call her Lady. Okay, so Hat Guy, he kind of like shoves into the door like, no, please let me in, like he's scared. And he got Lady behind him, so Ashley just lets him come in. While she has the door cracked letting him come in, Hat Guy and Lady, she can still see crazy guy standing in the doorway. And everybody's just looking at him, and all the men in the restaurant is starting to like, cause you know how guys are. They be like, let me make sure that I don't, he know not to mess with me. And they getting their belt buckles tight and they getting ready, because it was a whole bunch of, it was men in there, okay? Older men, not too old to where they couldn't kick somebody butt, but they was older to where they knew how to. Okay. So they get their belt buckles right, and they got their Timberlands on, and they looking at this person with they got their jeans on too, so they like, so what you trying to do, buddy? And that's kind of like what all she could see, like through the door as she was hurrying to be closing it after Hat Guy and Lady had came in. So Hat Guy, he's in there, he's panicking. Lady, she's panicking. She asking us, do we got a phone? Do we this? Can we call 911? Can we this? Can we that? Blah, blah, blah. And as soon as she say that, we hear the lady, the waitress lady say, I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm gonna call the cops on you. You need to tell me what you want, buddy. And so I didn't pull my phone out to call the police or nothing like that. And so the doorknob turned again. Yes, the doorknob turned again. And this time it was a lady. It was another lady. She was trying to get in there. I guess she saw a Hat Guy and Lady come in, and she like, forget that, I'm going in there too. So she came in too, or whatever. Hat Guy, he let her in. By this time, Ashley's standing next to me and Trina. And so we're all standing over on the other side of the, we're on the other side of the bathroom, and everybody else standing by the door. And so the lady, she came in, she was like, he didn't say anything. He's not moving. The lady, she's asking him, the waitress, she's asking him, like, what's going on? The cook, he hasn't came from back there yet. He hasn't said anything yet, but the place is dead silent. No music, no TV, no nothing. Because the waitress had cut it off because she wanted to hear what he had to say before she called the police on him. That's what she said. She's like, because if it's too loud in here and I can't hear you, and you have a disability maybe or something, I don't want to be rude for calling the police on you. So she did turn the TV down. It was some kind of sports game that was on the TV. I don't know what it was. And so she never turned it back up, and everybody's still staring at him. So another person come to the bathroom. By this time, it's barely room in there. Okay, it's a small bathroom. It's nasty. It's stank. It's got one piece of tissue in there, and the sink is in the way, and the toilet is in the way. So now I'm standing on one side of the toilet. Trina, she's standing on the other side of the toilet, and Ashley, she's standing in front of the toilet. It's a window over the toilet. That's not big, but it's not small neither. And everybody that's in there, we are just a regular sized person. Nobody had any issues with lifting or anything like that. Nobody was disabled or anything like that. So we were all cool, if we did need to get the hell up out of there. So I did the doorknob turn again, and this time it's two guys, and they're coming in there looking for Hat Guy. They're like, you're in here. They came in there to cuss Hat Guy out. They're like, you're in here with the ladies, and the ladies should be in here, and the fellas should be out here handling this dude. And so I was my bad for making his voice, but his voice was just so memorable. Like, I could hear him like yelling at Hat Guy, and Hat Guy's like, I don't have to risk my life for anyone. I'm here with my fiance, and I can do whatever I want, and screw you, and screw you, And it was like, you better come out here and fight him with us, or I'll be damned. That's what the other guy had said. So we'll call him Mad Guy, because that guy was pissed. So Mad Guy, he just leaves back out the bathroom, but his friend stays in there and continue to scold Hat Guy. So Mad Guy, he's out there, and we can hear him yelling. Yes, we can hear him yelling at the man, and the man ain't saying nothing. He not saying nothing, and all we hear is Mad Guy yelling, and Hat Guy, he said, wait, shh, or whatever, so we could hear what Mad Guy was saying, because Mad Guy was ready to take this guy on, okay? He had his fist balled up, he was ready, okay? And so Hat Guy decided to crack the door, and when he cracked the door, he seen like the other gentleman that I was telling you about, like the older gentleman, like getting ready to, handle this guy, and all of this is just because he just came in, stood in front of the door, looking creepy, stanking, and making everybody feel completely uncomfortable, like he was about to do something. And so, did they do something to him? If we was at the peak of it, we sure was at the peak of it, because Hat Guy, he stumbled back from the door, hurried up and closed it and said, "We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here." Now, it's not no more ladies on the outside in the diner section. Okay, we don't know where the waitress is at. She don't count. She got her own restaurant that she can run through. Believe me, I know about secret passageways in restaurants. I used to work in the restaurant business, and we definitely had plenty of them to get to whatever we needed to get to, especially in bookkeeping and stuff like that, just to keep it, like low key. So you're not bookkeeping like all out in the open. You're not doing certain stuff like making sure everybody check there all out in the open. You make sure you do that. You take a secret passageway, you go to your office and you do that. So she definitely had somewhere to hide. Every restaurant got somewhere to hide. So we wasn't thinking about her. It was just all us in here. And so we hear them fighting the man. Yes, and the cook, we can hear his voice, and he's rowling and egging it on. Yes, he is rowling and egging it on, honey. The cook is ruthless. He is crazy. And so Hat Guy, he opens up the window, and I mean, not open up the window. He cracks the door, and he's looking at the fight, and we're all looking at the fight through the crack. And the cook is like, he got stuff in his hand, and he's coming for the guy, and the guy is taking everybody out. Everybody, he's throwing them across and picking them up, and these people are his size or a little smaller than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big guy. Like, he's like Michael Myers size, like the modern Michael Myers, not the old Michael Myers, but the modern Michael Myers. The one where he was at the hospital and he grew up and he was big as I don't know what and all that kind of stuff. That particular one right there. That's how big the guy was. And he's just picking them up by their jackets and their shirts, and blah, and it's stuff flying everywhere. And Hat Guy, he still got the door cracked, and we're looking, and when he throws everybody, the man, when the man get done throwing everybody, he do just like this. And he looked over at the door at us, and Hat Guy went crazy. Oh my goodness. He hurried up and slammed the door and hurried up. And he started yelling at the other guy's friend that was still in there. He started yelling at him, telling him to hold the door. And so me and Ashley, we hurry up and we get we open up the window, and so we start crawling up because the toilet seat is right there. So you know how you can step on the back of the toilet and use that as like leverage or whatever. And so everybody put their foot on the back of the thing. Well, she went first, and then I went second, and then Trina, she had climbed out, and then Lady, she had climbed out or whatever, and the other lady, she had climbed out. And this whole time, like, Hat Guy and Mad Guy's friend, they're like holding the door, and he's trying to like bust the door open. And Mad Guy's friend is like really strong, like he got muscles, he's strong, he don't play that. You can tell he eat his cornbread, okay? And the reason why I say that is because of the state we was in and the city we was in when this happened. And so, I don't know what happened in there, but Trina said that she could see because she still was looking up, and she said, Hat Guy let the door go, and he jumped on the toilet and dove out the window, and Mad Guy's friend did the same thing. But he was able to like bust the door open and like snatch for Mad Guy's friend's foot. So he was like kicking the man back. We were all running to our car. Screaming and hollering and everything, and our cars was parked out front of the thing, so it was by the front door, and he was out there in the diner part, so all he had to do was just walk back and walk out the front door and come and get us. So we're screaming, running to get to the car. Oh my goodness, Ashley, she pulled off so hard. I was jerking all over the backseat. Trina, she was screaming. Hat guy, he was following us on the road doing 100 miles an hour. Ashley doing 100 miles an hour. All of us. The other guy, he had took off the other way because he wanted to go back around to get his friend from up off the floor from getting mopped by the crazy guy. Oh my goodness. And that was the wildest road trip that I have ever been on. I will never forget how Hat Guy dove out of that window. I will never forget how the crazy guy did like this and looked at the door. Oh my god. And this story is like embedded in my brain. So now it's like every time I go to a diner, every time I stop somewhere, I'll be looking around like, oh my goodness, is it gonna pop off today up in here? But yes, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Have fun, have at it. Hat Guy is a mess. He's hilarious, and I hope they got married, him and his fiance, because they went through it that day, honey. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow to tell y'all another story about my life. Sky of Myth is going to be here every day, okay? So good night and have fun.